Okay, I am getting sick to death of the efficiency which is being applied to software and user interface design and any design really, product design, even physical tangible products that you buy. The way things are designed now is with no account at all for the intelligence of the user. Okay, I am sick to death of having things predicted. Okay, I don't like to use a piece of equipment or a software package or anything like that, or a website whereby I recognize that the designer has tried to anticipate what I might want, even if they get it right. I don't like it. I don't like my computer doing things in such a way as is unexpected or unanticipated because someone else has predicted what I might like or what I might want. I don't like, for example, when I open a program, I don't like all of the little elements to emerge step by step by step every single time I open that thing, just because the person who designed it was trying to minimize the impact on the working memory caused by the use of that particular program. I just want it as it always was. If it's a bit of a memory hog, so be it. But what's happened now is the way that things are designed is so that every single tiny piece of random access memory that's being used to run a program is only ever used when it's absolutely necessary, and people are designing things so that they're just too efficient. I'll give you this is how I see things, right? Or rather, this is a good example. It's not just how I see things. This is a really good analogy, right? It is more efficient to get a steak dinner, a beautifully prepared steak dinner, throw it in a blender, put it into some sort of squirting device, and fire it down someone's throat. That's more efficient. But it's not a steak dinner. That would be rude, and it would not be enjoyable by the person using it. Software design and product design at the moment is such that there is, at every opportunity, the people designing the stuff are just insulting the intelligence of the user and stealing control of the experience away from the user. So the user's sitting there thinking, why do I bother even touching the thing? It's all done for me. And then the people who are designing this stuff are thinking to themselves, oh, I've done it all for the user. The user doesn't have to do anything. And the user's sitting there thinking, I want to do something. I like having control of what I'm using. People like to have control of what they're using. They don't like it all done for them because it feels disgusting, like someone's invading what you're doing. Nobody wants that. Oh, but it's more efficient. Doesn't matter if it's more efficient. Here's an example, right, of how bad this situation is. Okay? We all know that at the moment the high street is being destroyed by the efficiency of people having stuff delivered to them at home instead of going shopping, right? I was at the supermarket the other day and a little old lady was shuffling past me pushing a shopping trolley, and I offered to move. I said, shall I take the shopping trolley for you and help you to your car? And she said, no, thank you for offering. And I'll also tell you, she said, that I come to the shops even though I don't have to. I don't have to come, even though I could get everything delivered to me, but I come to the shops because I want to get out of the house and I want to do it for myself and I want to experience shopping. And I said, I completely understand and I completely agree. I do the same thing. Efficiency is not the gold standard of existence at all. Enjoyment of life is the gold standard of existence, and enjoyment relies to some to a large degree on having control over your own experience. Otherwise, you're not living, someone else is living, or some system is just running something. You've got to understand, when you're designing stuff, stop trying to usurp the user's experience of control. It doesn't matter. I would prefer a jerky, slow user experience to this fast-paced, efficient rubbish that we've got. It's horrible nowadays. You don't want to touch the thing, everything's done for you. You don't want to touch the thing, everything's done for you. Never mind. You don't want to touch the thing, everything is done for you. And that's not an experience of being a user. I don't even want to think about what that is. But as a user, you end up feeling that someone else is running what you're doing. And that's the problem. It's a glaringly obvious problem that we've got nowadays. Oh, well, we can do things such and such nowadays. It doesn't matter. If you can, you shouldn't. There are many instances of things in this existence which you can do, but which you shouldn't. You can be overbearing and try to take control of something that someone else is doing, but a lot of the time it's better to just sit back, let the other person be and do what they're trying to be and do. And the same is true with product design, whether it's an electronic product, a software product, or a physical product. Leave the person alone. I've said this before, every time I use Microsoft Windows, I just feel that my computer has been invaded and stolen from me. Well done, Bill Gates. Well done. You have made every single person in the world who uses your product hate you. Why don't you think? Why don't you step back and deflate your head a little bit and think about the fact that we're all people and we all like to be in control of what we're doing, even if you can invade someone's user experience. Don't. That's applied intelligence. Instead of being a blind moron who charges ahead, not thinking, think about what you're doing. Think about the impact it has on other people. And then people will adore your product like they used to. This is not tricky, is it? Just having the ability to do something doesn't mean you should use that ability. It certainly doesn't mean you should use it without consideration. And this is the problem. And this is so annoying because it's so obvious. And all it takes is a little bit of consideration and the problem's solved. I can just see the people in these software design departments now, and the lack of actual analytical review that's taking place. People are just going, yeah, I can do this, I can do this, I can do... They're just blindly charging on and creating software products that no one likes. That there are considerations. You know, there's a film called Jerry Maguire, and in that film, this guy is played by Tom Cruise, is a sports agent, and he becomes completely disillusioned with the industry he's in, and he declares to his employer at that time, in a document that he writes and distributes to everyone in the company, we have to change. This business is bad for people, the way that we're running it. And he says there is such a thing. Well, he gets fired, but as he's leaving the building, he loudly states to everyone there is such a thing as manners. a way of treating people. And this is exactly the point. A way of treating people. The way that you treat someone, if you are providing a service, is that you consider the customer, the user, to be the very person you need to please. It's not about pleasing you as the software. This is one of the problems with software design. You've got these people, and I have to say, largely, right, these people are probably people who are not very socially adept. So they're sitting there going, how can I make this happen? And if someone says to them, I don't like it, and I've met a lot of these people, they got a resentful mentality. They're like, huh. They want their little power trip. They want their little way of controlling the world. So if someone says to them, I don't like the way your software works, they go, and they got this attitude, like they resent it. But in every industry, when the customer says, I don't like what you're doing, you don't go, because it's not about you, it's about the customer. You say, really, what can I do to improve your experience? Now, a lot of companies pay lip service to this. They issue like a customer portal, which you never get any response to, a lot of the time because these companies are massive. But even the smaller ones now have taken this kind of manner of, we'll just keep the customer at the distance. And I have to say, some of them are actually, thankfully, recovering their minds and recognizing that they do need to interact with the customer properly and respectfully. Instead of sticking the customer in front of a chat bot or whatever. You've got to communicate with your customer and you've got to listen. Your customer is everything. And I'll draw this back again to politics. This rot, this current wave of rot, all began in the early 2000s when the British and American militaries were hijacked, all right, and used to affect the whims of certain globalists in the Middle East. And since then, all businesses started to say, oh, hang on, we don't need to care what the user thinks. And the relation here is that the user of our countries are the citizens, and we didn't want our militaries to go stomping around the Middle East on a lie. Virtually everyone woke up that moment and knew there was a problem, but people were just sort of steamrolled into it. And the same attitude seeped into all business. And this is where we've gotten to. Businesses think, we don't have to listen to the user or the customer. We'll tell them what they want, and they'll like it. They'll like it. They'll put up with it. No, that's not that. It's a breach of a very well understood notion, concept, and rule. The customer, the user, those are the people who you're trying to please. When people are sitting there designing software products, they are now focused upon what they think is great, what they think looks wonderful, and that's why websites are unusable trash now. Because the people designing them are designing them for themselves. I think this looks great. I think this looks... The users are thinking, what the heck is this nonsense? These guys are designing for themselves. Imagine if a supermarket decided to sell what the people in the supermarket thought was best for the customer and ignored what the customer wanted. They'd go out of business, because all it would take is for a competitor to focus on what the customer wanted and they'd be ruined. Now the problem we have here is probably the notion of a captive market. And that was this is another point, right? Remember when banks started charging people for unagreed overdrafts or whatever? The whole banking industry had to be in on that at the same time in order to produce that scandalous, wretched situation. If one bank did it and another bank didn't, people would just move banks. They all had to do it at the same time, which proves it was a group of heads of industry producing that action together. The same is true of any situation where the people don't have the freedom to move to another supplier. And that's kind of what we got in the situation with the internet at the moment, but it has to be changed. Anyway, that's the rant for today.